In this video, I'll be talking about the powers of I. Okay, let's get started. What's I to the zeroth power? Well, we know that anything to the zeroth power is 1. So I to the zeroth power is 1. And I know, I've heard a note right there that I is equivalent to square root of -1. So, yeah. Well, what's I squared? What's I to the first power? Well, I to the first power, well, anything to the first power is itself. So I to the first power is I. What's I squared? Well, I squared is -1. Stay with me a little bit. It's gonna get easier. It's gonna make more sense. Okay? Don't get scared of this. What's I to the third power? Well, we know that I squared is -1. And then I cubed is just I squared times I. So we could just say -1 times I, which is equivalent to -I. So I cubed is -I. What's I to the fourth power? Well, we know that the I to the fourth power is I to the third power times I. Well, I to the third power is -I times I. And since there's a -I, it's the same thing as -1 times I. So we could just say -1 times I times I. Well, we know that I times I is I squared, and I squared is -1. Then all of this changes into -1. And then we have -1 times -1, which is equivalent to +1. So I to the fourth power is +1. What's I to the fifth power? Well, I to the fifth power is the same thing as I to the fourth power times I. So 1 times I, just I. So I to the fifth power is I. What's I to the sixth power? Well, I to the sixth power is just I to the fifth times I. So it's just the same thing as I times I. And I times I, as we just saw here, is -1. Hopefully starting to get a little bit more sense. And then what's I to the seventh power? Well, I to the seventh power is just I to the sixth power times I. So -1 times I, and then we get -I. What's I to the eighth power? I didn't write it. Well, I to the eighth power is just 1. It keeps repeating forever and ever and ever. It keeps going on. So we see the pattern of I, and we kind of get a sense of the pattern powers of I. Let's just get a few examples of I to big powers. So if we had I to the power of 2056 over here, how do you solve that? Well, how you solve that is see if it's divisible by 4. Is this divisible by 4? Well, yes, 56 is divisible by 4. And anything divisible by 4 is just 1. That's a very key concept you need to know. I'll give you guys more examples. If there was I to the 999 power, how would you find this? Well, how would you find this by, well, let's see. What number lower than 999 is divisible by 4? Well, I to the 996th is divisible by 4, and I to the 999, same thing as I to the 996 times I to the third power. And then I to the 996, well, since it's divisible by 4, it's just equals 1, and 1 times I to the third is just I to the third, and I to the third, well, is -I. Okay, well, then in that case, could we find I to a really big power? And yes, you could actually. So if we had I to the power of 24,000 and 47, what would this be equivalent to? Well, let's use the same strategy we just did. Well, since these last two digits are not divisible by 4, let's see a digit below this that's divisible by 4. Well, 44 is divisible by 4. So 24,047. I to the 24,047 is the same thing as I to the 24,000 and 44 times I to the third power. And since this is all divisible by 4, just equals 1 times I to the third. And this is I to the third. And then I to the third is negative I. Oh wow, we got the same answer as we did before. Okay. I'll try to find you another example without having negative I. Okay, what if we had the problem oops, let me do it in the white color. What if we had I to the 4, 4, 2, 2 power? What would this be equivalent to? Let's use the same strategy we just did right over there, over here. And this will be the last example. Well, the number below this that's divisible by 4 is 4,420. So I to the 4,422 is equivalent to I to the 4,420 times I squared. And since all of this is divisible by 4, it just crosses out and equals to 1 times I squared, which is just I squared. And we learned that I squared is negative 1. So this would be your answer for this one. And that will be it for this video. And whenever you're doing these questions, just look out the power. Just look for the power of I. It's being raised to, and be careful when you're dealing with the powers of I. They can be tricky sometimes. And that will be it for this video. Bye.